What's up, everybody? It is, of course, Andy Squire, American attorney over here in Asia land. And this is the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. We're going to have a great show for you today. I'm super excited for our 3-year anniversary stream. I shouldn't be yelling because my voice is still recovering, but who the hell cares? And then to all of you out there, cheers and welcome to the party. Of course, I drank a lot last night, so I'm having 1 beer max during this stream. But cheers to you guys. Off rip, we're going to have a good one today. We've already got some guests lined up. A lot of folks have invites. I see some people lurking in the chat that I know have invites, so they should show up as well. But I am excited to do this show nonetheless. So for everybody who's here, thank you so much. And I just want to start off rip by saying thank you to all my supporters and everybody who's here in the house at the moment. You guys are amazing. You guys are great. And I couldn't do what I do without you guys. I really couldn't. I'm going to say that a lot, but you guys are the best. You're the base Chads and Stacy that have not just made my channel great, but you have helped so many other channels. You've helped so many other people. And a lot of the folks that I'm having on are people that are friends of my channel that have helped me, and I hope that you guys have helped them in return. And some channels, I know you guys have helped them in return. So I just want to say thank you to you guys because you're fucking awesome. So let's start with a good friend of mine and one of the people who's met me in person who can confirm I am indeed a real lawyer and a real human being who is over here in Asia. And that is my good friend, Scott. Scott, how are you?
Dude, I'm excellent. You know, living the North Korean dream over here. As you know, the military agreement signed.
You've surrendered, right? You've surrendered.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Hail the glorious leader.
Yes.
You know, peace be upon him. All that kind of whatnot. And yeah, so you know, it's fun times living over here. We got a North Korean satellite now up in space, so we're all very proud of that. And you know, we're just looking for any reason to just extol his virtues.
Yes, because there's so many virtues and there's zero vices. The man has absolutely zero vices, unlike a certain man in Busan. We won't get into that.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Scott, for those that don't know Scott, and it's my little intro, Scott is someone who hit me up. We're both in Korea, actually, and I streamed with Scott before I ever met him in person, right? But now we've hung out, Scott, what, like 3 or 4 times now?
Yep.
You know, so Scott's a personal friend of mine, a good friend of mine, knows me very well, met me and Legal Vices up in Seoul as well. So had a great time with Scott and his channel, Future Conflict. I know a lot of you guys went over there and joined that channel, became part of that channel. So I just want to say a special shout out and a lot of love for Scott's community because they're my community. And you guys, there's so much crossover, and especially for you guys that are into geopolitics, that are former veterans, that is definitely a home for you and a great place for you guys to hang out over at Future Conflict.
Well, you know, every time I come in, Andrew, I always get almost a little. I feel like I should be sharing chats and things like that pop up because all the same names in your chat are many of the same names from my chat. So I feel like I'm at home.
You are. You're very much welcome, Scott, and your channel is very much welcome. And all the guys from your channel always welcome on my channel at any time. Real quick, the next one we have is a gentleman here who's popped backstage, said he had audio problems. But really, was it audio problems or was it the fact that Bob Iger is salty at his latest video? And that is my good friend Pro, WW Pro. How's it going, brother?
Well, you know, I wondered if the dark van outside was Scientologist, the FBI, or Bob Iger. Now I know which one.
You know exactly who it is, bro. But bro, it's really good to see you. It's been awesome to cover the Disney issues with you because I feel like we really have like an all-star team from a professional, financial, film side, writing. You know, there's an expert for everything now that is Disney, and you're definitely part of that. If I was thinking of people that are out there that know Disney well and that cover Disney issues, like it's their daily bread, it's you. So it's been a pleasure to work with you. It's been a pleasure to come on your streams and to break news with you, particularly regarding the Disney lawsuit. And I I love that is my, I know some people tease me about it. Some of the other law tubers, they tease me about being the Disney lawyer, the Disney specialist, but I'm like, I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. So,
well, feeling is mutual. I have greatly enjoyed watching your channel take off and being a part of the tail end of that, although you are definitely fully capable all on your own. But what a fun time it is to hop on here with you. And I have to say, I never thought that we would watch the Disney company implode in the way that we have seen. It has been, to use a pun that is worthy of this week, it has been marvelous.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I hope you wish it gets better.
Yes, well, I think the shareholders are wishing, because I don't know if you saw this, but their latest animated film, Wish, has released, and the preview was being talked about having $2.1 to $2.3 million for the preview night. And so that puts it behind the Elemental movie, which was already bad. But the media was trying to spin this. And so I looked into this, and over there on
the Marvels, right? Pro, that's behind the Marvels.
Oh, yes, definitely behind the Marvels. It's a third of the Marvels. Yeah. But so we looked into this, and it turns out that the Thursday number is actually propped up by something that's a little sneaky, and that is that they offered exclusive sneak peeks on Saturday. Nobody knows who bought the tickets, how they bought the tickets, but $500,000 got thrown in the kitty to inflate it to that 2.1 to 2.3 million on the preview. So even less impressive somehow.
To buy tickets for people who didn't see the movie.
I'm sure it's all for Make-A-Wish, Scott. You're a terrible person.
Yeah, it's absolutely 100%. But they're playing the box office games again, and we've seen this time and time again. And these are the things that we're going to continue to cover. And people give me a little bit of flack for reaching outside of the courtroom. They say, you're a legal education channel. You got to stick in your lane and stay over there and don't talk about anything else. I get those comments in the chat, especially after I say anything negative about Disney. The Disney comments, the Disney adults, they come out and they post, the pixie dusters, they post like ridiculous stuff like that. But it's the stuff I like to cover, and I think it's relevant because these things end up in lawsuits, right?
Fiduciary responsibility. It's what you're covering.
Andrew, that's very similar to what happens when I don't cover strictly war things. They want me to cover real war, but I want to cover the culture war from time to time.
Right.
And
how dare you talk about the Orange Man, Scott? How dare you?
And Pro, you know how it is. I mean, the culture war is vital to what's happening in the real world, right? Even if you just look at it only from the economy and things like that. So, Pro, you guys are doing the Lord's work. You and Valiant and a bunch of guys that are really covering down that space. Awesome job.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Disney has actually admitted in their latest filing with the SEC that they are aware that they're in danger by being in the culture war. And it's huge that now they're expressing it. Thatparkplace.com has an article on that right now, and I can actually read this part to you. I don't know if we're going to go into this later. So do you want me to read just the short paragraph of it?
Can you, is it?
I can hold it if you too.
Hold it. I'm going to come back to you, bro. I'm going to come back to you because I want to intro. We've got so many good people waiting backstage, and I want to intro everybody.
Yes.
So let me get to the next person who I see slipped in here, who's actually been a really good friend of mine. She has been amazingly supportive, and I am always supportive of her channel and her people. And she's just such a kind individual. She's always been super kind to me, super great guest, super great human being. And she's also been pretty fearless in what the topics that she's covered. And I really respect that about her a lot. And that's my good friend, Christina. Christina, how are you? You're muted. You're muted. You're so brave and stunning. You're muted.
Woman moment. You know what had to happen. I had to boomer it.
You did have to boomer it. You're my age, so you had to boomer it. We're similar here.
Excuse me. How old are you now, sir?
25.
We've established my age. It is the 20th anniversary of my birthday.
I age backwards. Each year now, I go backwards. So I was like, who's this person he's talking about, though? I was like, oh, it's going to be somebody cool, and it's me.
Now you're sounding as delusional as Megan Fox. And not that Megan Fox, people. I love that. I love that episode that you did. That was a really great one that I caught in on. But you've been covering some amazing topics. I just want to pull your channel up real quick here, Grace, because you have been covering topics that other people aren't covering, right?
Yes.
Like talking about trafficking, which nobody can talk about, right? Talking about Epstein. Like these are all things that like people can't talk about, right?
The loss of Omegle, like what the, you know.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the thing you really went all in on was the Michigan Fednapping. And this is something you and I talked about originally. I remember we broke this kind of story, but you ran with it, right?
Yeah.
You went all the way with it. You interviewed people. You went out there. You went to the trial. You got yelled at by prosecutors. You produced a documentary.
Did you see
you got
that?
canceled for it. So, yeah.
Yes, it's still going. You know, I'm still dealing with this stuff. It never ends. I feel like the Michigan case is like, it's going to take over my life.
But that's good. You know? That means you know it better than anybody else. And when there's ever a question, I don't think, like, what I love about specialty areas, like just like you, if I said Michigan kidnapping, right? If that ever comes up, I'm calling you. Right.
Yes, this is a problem for me though, because now I'm apparently like a big journalist. So I'm having problems like getting in to visit people in prison because you have to be approved by their caseworker at the prison, and they do background checks. And it's not that I wouldn't pass a background check though, but I guess they know who I am now. So it's not like they aren't aware, and they're like, so there's some things going on.
Them boys
right
are
now.
Looking at you. Yeah.
But
we'll keep it fun here, not federal, right? I've lost my shades. Nick Ricada stole them in Texas. So,
are you sick, by the way? I have to ask you.
I'm sick and I'm sick and in a super echoey room. This room is like all tile, so it is like the most echoey room possible. And so of course I chose to stream in it.
I blame it on your 18-foot ceilings.
I didn't turn the pinball machine on.
Oh,
rude.
That's much necessary light. Well, go anonymize yourself and do it in the background if you want. While I introduce my next guest, who is anything but anonymous, he is in fact a man of many vices. That is my good friend Jeff.
Hey,
who is in Busan, South Korea. Jeff, how's it going?
What's up? Just breaking your retarded 4-person panel rule.
Yeah, well, that is a damn good rule, and it exists for a reason. Exceptions are always made, but exceptions don't prove the rule, Jeff. You're like, I found the unicorn. She's the one. She's not gonna Me Too me.
Jeff, 안녕하세요.
Hey, Scott, what's up? Been a minute.
Hey, I know, right, brother?
Yeah.
Need to get up your way before the world freezes.
Hey, Andrew is going to be here soon.
I'm coming next weekend, so I will let you know. I'll get in your DMs, Jeff.
Are you going to be up there? Or are you going to come down here?
Well, were you planning to go up there? We could just do our planning live here in front of, just a private group of 400 people on several platforms. Let's just dox our location real quick.
I think we'll be good here in Korea. Actually,
you think we're good? You think we're good?
I think we're
good.
The Norks won't care.
Well, happy channelversary.
Thank you so much. But I mean, Jeff, your intro here is that I am so glad that I found you. I am super glad that you hit me up. I'm super glad that we got drunk in ETH Wallet. And actually, today is a day where I'm hungover, which is much like the days, all the days after I meet you. I've never not met you and been hungover the next day. That's a rule.
Well, that's the objective. Hi, Christina. It's been a minute for seeing you too.
I know. I feel like I'm always like missing everyone. I'm always missing people's streams and stuff. And I hardly stream myself anymore because I'm so busy.
It's that quest. You're on that quest to be, bigger than Miss Nepal. I'm
on the quest to get my documentary
That is
finished.
Not possible. That woman is a tank.
Did you say?
Hold on. Speaking of hating women, let's let in Attorney Andrew F. Manga. What's going on?
Hey guys. Every time I come on one of these group streams, I have to try to remember if there's anybody present who's mad at me for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, we all do.
Someone's mad at you, Bronca. Someone
on
this
Someone's always mad at everybody.
It's a gift. It's a gift. Hey, Andrew, congratulations, man. 3 years.
Thank you so much.
Huge milestone.
Thank you so much.
Very proud to be associated with you.
Appreciated. And I'm happy to be with you and helping you out in your American law course. I'm loving teaching business law. We just got done. My last lesson was on Me Too cases and how to fight them from a corporate perspective, which was really fun to analyze it from a legal perspective and from a mitigation. Like, how do you deal with that? I mean, number one is don't hire woke motherfuckers. So
are groupies part of that curriculum now?
Oh yeah, I should explain the background. Folks, I haven't been kidnapped and put in an episode of Saw 15 or anything. I'm at my dad's house for Thanksgiving, and the house is full of family. So this is the only place. The basement workshop was the only place I could find some quiet to join the stream today. But I am safe. No code word necessary.
We knew Andrew was always just living in his father's basement. The truth is out. The green screen's down.
Yeah, that's the line, right? Incel, basement dweller. You know, that's
right. No safe word.
Yeah. Speaking of no safe word, there's somebody who's not in a basement, but he's in fact under a rock, and that is Floral from Under a Rock. Floral, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, well, I'm doing pretty good, and I'm proud of you for going through puberty. I'm glad that you're able to do that. So it's a big improvement of what was going on before. So you are basically a little child.
Yes. I've moved up from moved up in the bathroom. You know, you go through your your expulsive phase, right? And you move on.
And then you get kicked into a garage. Is that what's going on over there?
Your dad's basement, you know.
Well, I will say you've got yourself an eclectic group here today, Andrew.
It's always eclectic over here on the Legal Mindset. Speaking of colorful, you know, as I've been covering Disney with Pro, and we'll talk a little bit more about Disney later with Pro, but I have realized that, you know, modern Hollywood is not putting out good entertainment. It's not putting out good stuff. So you've got to turn to people like, well, Floral's a great channel, right? Who's providing some solid puppetainment, but also people are increasingly turning to anime. And one guy I always talk about anime is my good friend, Brandon. Brandon, how's it going over there?
Andrew, it is going well, and it's good to see everyone here today. And I have to say, when it goes to Disney, when in doubt, hashtag Duck Fisney. Win always. Why? Because they suck.
Absolutely. And Dave,
hey, wow, one more guest, and I become Alice from the Brady Bunch. That's cool.
You've got the center square.
Or Paul Lynn from Hollywood Squares.
There are enough invites out that it can happen. It can magically happen. Also, for members of my Discord, if you are by the way, if you are a Legal Mindset member, right? Shout out to all the memberships that got gifted. I'll get this in a second. But if you're a member, you've access to Discord. And I said, if you Discord DM me on Discord, I will give you some slot to come in here and say hi. You got to DM me and you got to agree to my rules because there's posted rules in the Discord. So read the rules. You can come.
Yeah, can't be a complete degenerate.
No. And you can only generate drama if it's extremely profitable. It has to make me a lot of money. That's, really
that's a good rule.
That's a good rule. It's
I like
always
that
a good
rule.
It's always a good rule.
Monetize the hate.
100%. And speaking of monetization, let's get to these memberships. Chuck Wilson gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Dayhad Co gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. And Vibe AI gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. So we have
memberships.
30 memberships.
Very generous.
10 for each year. So I appreciate that, guys. Really, I truly do. Thank you for that. It's been an epic record month for memberships. We've been smacking through the goals, and you guys have been really, really great this month. And it's great to see all you base Chads and Stacy's out there joining to be part of the Legal Mindset membership. I always imagine all of the base ladies out there are like Christina, right? Like, you know, I don't see them, but I imagine they're like Christina's. And I'm like, okay, just clone that and the world will be a better place.
There's only one Christine.
Oh, please.
And real quick from the members here, Patrick says, who's been a member for 19 months, says happy anniversary, buddy. I want to give a special shout out to Patrick, who just helped me complete the comic Adjudicators Academy about the LawTube knockoff Rule 34 spinoff of my comic, which finally I finished because I had to compile everything, put it together, add extra pages, add the special thanks. So thank you, Patrick, for that. That's gone out. You guys should all have that I've already seen images floating around on Twitter, so I expect people to be memeing about that later. So thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate you and appreciate your support. Chris Rowland says, happy 3 years, baby. Be sure to smash the like for sake. 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 This is Thailand. That's like, and I was in Korea. It's soju. Soju or Singha, you know? I mean, you got to go one way or another. I mean, some way, but no.
Oh, you got to get into the Sangsam rum. That's what you got to get into.
Dude,
that's the
fact that you know Sangsam means you are degenerate, Vices, because Sangsam is what the Thais drink when they want to get fucked up. That's like a real.
But you don't get a hangover with it.
What?
Because you die.
To ascend to the next level.
What's in there?
Poison, literal poison.
You're right. Squid for $10 says, happy 3 years on YouTube. For those in the States, happy Thanksgiving. May your night be filled with lonely women at the bar. It's Valentine's Day, Squid. Come on, Valentine's Day is our hunting
in Thailand, that's actually a very good wish. You wish that there actually are women at the bar.
But that would explain Black Friday.
What?
It's sad when those women, Jeff, look better than half of the ham beasts back.
Those aren't the women. Those aren't the women, Andrew. Stay away from the attractive ones.
Women.
Here we go. Angry Canadian who's over here in Japan says, happy anniversary, escape the West and go East. Yes, awesome. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for attending my conference in Japan. Hope to do one in Korea with these gentlemen. We'll talk about it. But I know, Jeff, you wanted to do a big meetup in Busan. I'm definitely game for doing that. It's doing something our side to show people what's up over here. I think those guys getting out and getting over here is absolutely been great, and they're seeing a side of the world that they've never seen before and don't even know exists.
Like, would it be a dress-up party if you guys did it? Because it's how it goes over there, right?
You could do it. I'm not saying you'll be let in.
With that voice, you definitely could.
Oh yeah. Jay says, happy 3rd anniversary. Here's for another drink. Oh. Hi, Pro.
Hey, Jay.
Okay, so I guess you know Jay. So shout out to you, Jay. What's up? Thank you so much for the 20. Appreciate you very, very much. Vibe AI, a good supporter of the channel, and also on Rumble for 14.99. It's happy anniversary, bro. Happy anniversary to you guys too. Let me get this article here. So, Pro, I did promise you I would come back to that. So, I guess what we're getting at, and this is a good comment for really everybody to kind of look at, is we're finding out via Disney. And they're one of the main companies when you think of woke companies. We're finding out that ESG is not flying. And it's kind of funny that we're finding this out. You know, we're finally finding this out. It's coming out that consumers' positions on their ESG goals often differ wildly and present risks to our reputation and brands. I mean, Bro, you can kind of comment on this, what you think about this, but this is to me like no shit, Sherlock, right?
Well, like Disney buried this in a huge spread of investment papers. They would never say this in a way that would be easy decipherable. It's just, thank goodness it's in an article now where it's been brought out to the public to understand. One of the bullet points in this section from the Disney's Form 10K with the Securities and Exchange Commission says this, and finally we're getting this out of the company. It says, and I quote, "We face risks relating to misalignment with public and consumer tastes and preferences for entertainment, travel, and consumer products, which impact demand for our entertainment offerings and products and the profitability of any of our businesses." It goes on to talk about how the success of their box office, theme parks, and more are related to the way in which the audiences appreciate or widely vary in the acceptance of Disney's market or economic or social climate anticipations. And so basically, it looks as if you read this article, that Disney is saying, we thought that the American public and Western society would be this way 4 years ago when we set all this into being, and it's not.
Well, that's obvious. To me, this is pretty obvious on its face. The world does not revolve around the West Coast and the East Coast, where the whole ESG DIE thing started. If you come out here, like where I live, I'm out in Idaho. None of this shit would fly with any of us here. Not a single thing. And that's why I will never go back to California, let alone to Disneyland. And if I do go to Florida again, which I absolutely love, it's going to be the universal. There's no way not that this stuff would fly, especially
But of course,
in the flyover country.
None of this woke stuff is actually intended to appeal to a market or an audience. It's a circular, self-serving kind of pseudo-religion that these elites adopt. They don't actually care about making money for the corporation. They care about their social standing and their class, their rank within their class.
The clout.
And being woke does that. Within their tribe, being woke is the value. And the fact that it costs the company maybe billions of dollars, that's irrelevant. That's an acceptable concept because they're still getting plenty of money, more than they can.
And because the institutional investors will back them. They'll
that's why they put most of the institutional investors are the same tribe, right? So they don't care either, really. But they bury these things deep in the financial disclosures because there's always some risk that if you don't reveal the risk in your financial disclosures, you could face enormous liability. Somebody could say, you know what, I like being in the woke tribe, but I could also make billions of dollars suing Disney for not revealing this risk. If they bury it, it's in the papers. They can say, hey, we disclosed the risk. But they bury it deep enough that it's not likely to get widespread coverage. So the fact that it got this widespread coverage is surprising to me.
Yeah, and most of these things, that's why bro, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, that's why I cover those securities filings. That's why I like digging through them. That's why I like looking at them, because it's often what they don't say, right? They don't expand upon it. And you're like, wait a second, this is actually a material disclosure, which should be a fucking headline. But
they really wish you would stop that, Andrew. They wish you would stop reading those because they're not intended to be interesting enough to read.
Correct.
But I do want to ask, do you all feel the same way? Because I don't want to be in a bubble, but I feel like Disney might be on a bubble and perhaps the other woke companies, but Disney is far in the lead when it comes to wokeism and entertainment. When I look back at this, the last 12 months, and I see, and I read an article on this as well, that in the last 12 months, the Walt Disney Company has made 5 movies which entered the top 10 biggest flops in cinematic history. So in other words, in 100 years of cinema, Disney in 12 months pulled off 5 of the worst movies in terms of profitability that we've ever seen.
And counting.
So how is that possible? Yes, well, Wish is here now and it's underperforming, but how is that possible? Is there not a point where the investors finally say, you know what? We don't want to be the last man standing or woman. We don't want to be the last person standing holding the bag.
But we have to ask the fact that it's a question tells us the answer, right?
Right.
Well, they're winning.
I don't know if there's such a point. If there is such a point, it's not apparent. I mean, just imagine that you had some trust fund kid, a trust fund adult, right? Where the wealth of the family was created generations prior. And he's got $1 trillion trust fund, and he's become a crack cocaine addict. And he goes years making nothing but the worst possible decisions.
Why are you calling me out like that?
It doesn't matter.
I feel like this is being localized to a real person.
It's talking to me right now. I feel triggered.
Doxed.
But they're winning. Didn't you see the headlines this morning?
You're buying drinks next weekend.
The Marvels. The Marvels is winning. $110 million opening. That's the largest opening in history for a black woman director.
And simultaneous, the biggest flop in the history of black female directors.
It also won the
number one movie in the
drop
box
after the first weekend.
Talk about racing to the bottom, and what's the term that goes with this? It's the lowered expectations, the bigotry of lowered expectations.
But guys, if we're going to talk about bigotry, we've got to come after the white man, and there's no man who is whiter and more wrong than me. So what I want to do right now real quick is all of you, I am going to play my very first video on YouTube other than my channel intro, right?
Is that the OnlyFans one?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it's the OnlyFans one. Okay, don't get too excited. Keep your pants on.
I just hope you get a copyright strike for this one.
Keep your pants on because I know Vices isn't wearing any. Vices, I literally had somebody quote you the other day. They like, as Legal Vices says, pants are prison.
Well, that's a flux. That's a flux quote. So.
Well, it's a good one. It's a fucking good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
I just co-opted it.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty funny. Pants are prison. I'll have to remember that.
It's true. I'm going to play this, and now I'm going to play it through. I'm not going to pause it, but I want you guys to roast this first video, roast my presentation style, like roast everything, roast the law. I'm probably wrong on the fucking law. Like I probably didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. This is the first one I did. And actually, I filmed this in actually the Fresh and Fit studio. This is actually against the back wall of their studio. If you look at their kickout cam, you'll see this sound paneling. So this is a long time ago, 3 years ago, that I made this video. And it's also very, very, very post-produced, but I'll play this.
Hey everyone, it's Andrew. And on today's episode, I'm going to break down mandatory
Oh, you look
arrest.
so young.
Now, mandatory arrest is a principle that falls under domestic violence. So first, as a prerequisite, we are going to have to explain
Christ, the gap
domestic
between
violence.
the top of
Now,
your tie
domestic
and your
violence
collar is annoying me
generally
already.
defined as assault, battery,
That's why I don't wear
kidnapping,
ties.
imprisonment, or any other crime
like how you
that's committed
introduced
between
today's
two
episode.
members of the
Watch.
same
100 episodes
household.
before it.
Now, there's two important things about that, and let's just think about those for a second. There's a short list, assault, battery, kidnapping,
Look like
imprisonment,
Boss
and once
Baby.
again, this is general. As always, state statutes vary wildly from state to state.
Legal camera angle, that's good.
Talking about murder.
Assault,
I
battery,
need a boss
kidnapping,
baby me.
false imprisonment. Those would definitely be included. Or any other
Yes,
criminal
that's
offense.
perfect, boss
Now,
baby.
Any other criminal offense could be any number of things. It could be theft. It could be cyber
This whole legal
stalking,
eagle
which now
wannabe
has a
thing
very
is a
broad
criminal
definition.
offense.
So there's a lot
Yes.
of things that could
The
fall under
upward
the criminal
angle. You
aspect
just need to
of
not
domestic
shave for a
violence.
couple days.
But let's also talk about household. Now, this beer bug situation has called into question many people's living situations. I know lots of people that have moved back in with their parents. They're living with their friends,
Bronca.
living with their girlfriend or boyfriend, or just some people they met on Craigslist. Hopefully not. But
Hopefully not indeed.
that
Oh,
creates
crap.
a situation where those people could be considered in the same household because the law treats children, siblings,
As this is filmed,
parents,
Legal Beagle is
girlfriend,
bleeding in the
boyfriend,
corner.
and roommates
Got
the
a big
same
handprint across
under the
the
domestic
street.
violence statutes. The same could apply. So that guy you've been hosting on your couch for 2 months, yeah, he might be able to file a domestic charge against you.
Is there a teleprompter?
Now,
No, there's
the
no
principle
teleprompter.
behind mandatory
But I did a
arrest
lot of cuts.
is
I
that
did a lot of takes.
domestic violence, particularly between spouses, and this is research that was going back into the 60s, 70s,
Look how
and
engaging
80s
this.
even, it's shown to be more
I'm trying to figure out what
lethal
your eyes Morse
on
code is
average
saying.
than other forms of violence. So let's say a bar
Relates to me.
brawl, typically less lethal
Don't buy
than
this
a
watch.
domestic violence
It's a fake.
situation. And therefore, the
My
principle
friend
was
that kicked me out
adopted
of his fucking
that
apartment.
when there is a call of domestic violence, somebody
Oh, God damn
should
it,
be
pull your tie up.
arrested. And that's
Is the collar
called
made of
mandatory arrest. Now,
Somebody
about
should be
26,
arrested.
27 states, and that's
I
approximate
like
because
this
this law
comment here.
changes
This video
very
is before
often,
your
and you should
testicles
always check
drop.
for your state. But most states
I
have
think the end
some
of the tie
form
is caught
of
in the
pro-arrest
diaper.
or mandatory arrest provision. And once again, this is requiring that when an officer shows up
Oh, God.
on
Was
a
this
domestic
shot in the
violence
States?
charge, that they
Yes.
shall
It's
or
criminal.
must or are highly encouraged to arrest a party. There are cases around the country where officers showed up, failed to arrest
I don't think
an
you're zooming
individual
in and out enough.
when there was a domestic violence
Do
call
you think I should
reported
zoom in
in,
more a little bit?
and
A little bit?
those
Probably,
officers
yeah.
were found
That always
liable
drives
for
me
leaving the
crazy with
scene.
these pre-produced videos
Therefore,
where
on
you do the
top of
zoom
the
in, the
mandatory
zoom
arrest
out.
There we
statute,
go.
there's
Random.
police policies that
I like
encourage
to pan
police,
into the
even in
nostril.
non-mandatory arrest
Especially
Now
cases,
Andrew would
to
put scarecrow.
take
It
some
holds on to the
jail.
audience
Now,
retention
what
as
are
they wait to find out, is
analyzing
there a
when they're
booger in
saying
there?
Man
who we
dates
should
a
bring to jail?
woman.
Well, the first thing is some
Dates a
states
woman.
have specific statutes that say mutual arrest is prohibited. So the cops can't be lazy and say, you know what, we're bringing you both in. They've got to pick one and bring them in. Now, the factors they're going to look at are things such as size, is
This is-
one person
this
bigger
is
than
me,
the other,
like,
able to
beating
harm
around
them
the
more,
bush to
gender,
say
that's
they're arresting
clear
men,
in
not
the
women,
male side.
right?
It's
Like,
statistic. Also, past history. Do they have a
Wait,
criminal
this is
record?
saying that.
Do they have something else in their
This is
past?
way
Do they have a
too
previous
practical for
domestic
law
violence
too.
charge? Behavior. Are they
You
drunk?
haven't
Are they
counted on your
aggressive? Are
fingers
they
enough
belligerent?
either.
All these things are going to be taken
Give me
together.
more time.
Once
Take
again,
point
watch
two.
my first video in a totality of the circumstances to determine whether or not they're going to bring that person in. But it's likely, if there is a call in most states, that somebody is going to be brought in. it's important that when you have somebody that's staying with
very
you, who you might
informative.
think is a guest, but who's been there
Very
for a
informative.
month or 2 months, that you think about that person, their stability,
like
their
that's a
past
black
record,
woman
whether or
sitting
not
in
you
the
want them to
background.
live
Like,
in
what
your
is that?
house.
Like-
Because once again, if there's a call, you do not want to be the person who's arrested. As always, check with an attorney in your state if you have a
Look
question
at
about
that.
mandatory arrest. And until
Oh my
next
goodness.
episode, this episode is adjourned.
What?
Thank
crap.
Adjourn.
You are
That's
done.
gonna be my fucking tagline.
All right.
That's gonna be
I
my
do want to
ending.
ask. I do want to ask. Is that stuff
By the way,
still
by the way,
prevalent?
Hold on.
Oh,
On the ending card here, you see they fucked up my fucking Instagram. It's Squire International. God knows what happened to Clarity. I haven't checked that shit in 16 years.
That's a porn site now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
All right. This mandatory arrest stuff, is this still stuff that's still on the books? Has anybody ever challenged this, or has it ever been challenged?
It's still very much a real thing for DV. Yeah, very much a real thing. It's a real problem. I mean, if you have a case where you've got two people beating on each other, and it's like a Courtney Clay situation, which I know Vices and I are certainly waiting for that trial. It's going to make us fucking $1 million, but or Bronca too, self-defense. That's a self-defense case where she's claiming self-defense.
Sort of.
No, it is. She's claiming
she's
self-defense.
I know.
She is
Which
claiming
case is this?
self-defense. Right,
This is
Courtney
the
Clenny. She's
Instagram
an
model,
OnlyFans.
Courtney Clenny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
her.
Or as
Yes,
will
I
say,
can't wait to see this.
A woman who was living with someone, as I now translate to a whore, who was putting out pornography for,
Hunting
her
rich
occupation.
black IT guys.
Right.
As she
preying on them.
Admittedly,
Praying.
she
Yeah.
liked rich single black IT guys.
So a
Who
killer
doesn't?
harlot.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
very specific.
So Scott, do you have any constructive criticism for my first video? I want to go around the panel here. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts there?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said it during the den, but I'm sure nobody heard it. This is way too practical for LawTube. You didn't have any drama involved. You're standing up. What the hell? I mean, everybody knows that the lawyers are lazy, and you guys always sit in stools or chairs. Come on, man. Clearly, Andrew
Well, we
set
sit on
the standard
toilets,
with
you
the
know.
proper amount of clutter in the background, and it's all practical clutter. I mean, Andrew, you look like you're on a set of like Tool Time or something like that.
I know. It is. This is the set of Tool Time.
Well, no, that was Fresh and Fit Studio, so it is tool time. There were a lot of tools on that.
Yeah, there are a lot of tools there. Yeah, that's true.
It would have been more enjoyable if at some point you had said, here are some examples of people who would be arrested under mandatory arrest. And then have like a play of 10 different photos, and every single one of them, it's a nice looking gentleman who's arrested.
I do have a question about mandatory arrest. Can a husband and wife enter into mutual combat?
In certain states, you think they can, right? In certain states, they could technically, but
Boxing
like in the
gloves.
DV situation, they're going to take the dude. Like, let's just be real.
They can do whatever they want until the wife complains about it.
Yeah, we're canceled. Christina, you've got to go soon, so I want to give you a chance to roast me real quick here.
Oh, come on. You know I'm nice. I was
Oh, that's
laughing
bullshit.
that
That's
has
bullshit.
me
Don't
cracking
play that
up.
game. Don't play that game with me.
All right. I will give you constructive criticism of it. Well, your haircut, hilarious.
Federal agent. You've been doing a lot of federal agents. Can I pass?
Exactly.
For the bureau?
The cop vibes were scary. Little too professory, I like laid back, real Andrew,
That
You
doesn't.
just
The
should-
Professor
you
X
should
doesn't
be,
do it for you.
Like, I can tell you're not being yourself, and it's like, you know what I mean? Because I've had to do it myself, where you have to like contain your power levels, and it's uncomfortable. And I can tell you're wanting to say more, but you're like trying to be nice, and like professional with your
YouTube
fancy
friendly.
legal words.
Beer bug. Beer bug.
Didn't
but
say whores once.
Honestly,
No, I did not say whore.
I thought
Look at
you
that.
did really good though. Like for your first video, I never want to see my first video, and no one's ever going to see it because it no longer exists. It's been yeeted. And if anyone finds it, I will murder you in your sleep.
So somebody find it and post it in my Discord, and we will review it on the next one. Because now you challenge the autists of the internet.
What?
And they're out there.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I'll send this to Max Mura,
Okay,
and I'll have it
it's
within 10
fine.
minutes.
Max
It's
is
officially on the subreddit lost content.
Oh no.
But thank you. I appreciate that, Christina, so
and
much.
The Craigslist thing was funny though. Like, who uses Craigslist anymore? Is that even around anymore?
It's still around, and you'd be surprised who
age
uses
with
it.
a Craigslist roommate reference.
I
because
definitely
it's a Craigslist killer, and I think everybody stopped using Craigslist.
Well, it
It's
only had
definitely an
50%
old.
muggings.
You know?
I'm just saying, I don't go to Home Depot to find dates. I go to Craigslist.
Like all normal people.
I guess that's one place to do it.
I was gonna say you said it, not us, man.
Yeah. So no, thank you so much, Christina. Appreciate you showing up. I know you got to skedaddle, so feel free to pop out whenever you have to. But
yes,
always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to look forward to having you on my 4th year anniversary. And I look forward to all of your channels when you get there to the 3-year anniversary or even past that, right? Bronca, I think you've had a channel since 1982. So I mean,
yeah, something like that.
Just yelling at clouds, you know?
Hey, man,
One of the OGs.
As I warned you, I can't stay very long, but I will say
Sure.
this. That first video was way better than the first 500 videos that I did that are still on YouTube. So you can go look at them if you want, but I don't recommend it. I was a stiffer MFer than that by a long shot. Very proper lawyer. Didn't say the word whore once.
It's like the reverse Bechdel test.
And we're all the poorer for it.
It's the Andrew test. It's like, will they say whore within 30 minutes of a show? You know.
And now he's
Whatever
beefing
the
with a
screen
guy
size
fatter
is
than
for an old
me.
black and white
Oh my
TV.
goodness.
You know, that was the frame size. But man, it wasn't that bad. But this is way better. I'd like to think my stuff is way better, way more honest, way more upfront today than it was before. And that's what makes these channels successful. That's what people want. They don't want stodgy, proper, restrained, half-truth nonsense, politically correct nonsense. They want the truth as we see it. Doesn't mean we're always right. But I can tell you one thing: I'm always telling the truth as I see it. I'm almost always right. Anyway, I've been doing this a long time. But it's certainly a lot more fun to produce the content, and it gets a much better response when it's just given to the community, to the audience, honestly. And you certainly accomplished that. Your stuff today is just fantastic. With that said, I do have to run. My family's trying to get my attention, but congratulations again on 3 years. Great seeing everyone here, everyone in the chat. Do some super chats, do some memberships, however all that stuff works. I don't really know. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone in America and all the Americans. I know the rest of you don't do that kind of stuff, but you ought to. It's fun. But turkey's overrated. All right, folks. Until next time.
See you, Bronca. Say hi to your family.
Take care, Bronca. Good to see you.
Bye,
see you. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'm heading out too.
Bye,
Christina.
It's good to see you again.
Can we get an uwu? Hold on, Christina. Can we get an uwu on the way out?
I will uwu, but only if some people do some channel memberships. So
There's
I
been
will
a shit ton of channel membership.
And in exchange,
there you
go.
Legal mindset memberships. Lele dropped 5 legal mindset memberships. Hold on, I can't even get that
you guys.
Okay.
But
There we
also,
go.
I have to say, also Sneed and
There you go. That's one I was waiting for.
You just gotta let it out.
Bye, Christina.
You just gotta let it out. See you, Christina.
Nice to meet you.
See ya.
Wow.
All right, we can stop simping now.
It's a sausage party.
Now it's all the
Christina's
degenerates.
nice. I must say
Christina's
this.
awesome.
Looking at that video, there are, in my opinion, there are 2 different types of videos. Either the heavily produced, heavily edited, cut edits like what you have, and for some people that works. And then there's the other, which is more what you do now, what Pro does, where you're basically just here in Streamlabs, just record it, one take, what's said is said, and you can have somebody put in maybe a few little fun things here and there, but for the most part, the ones that tend to work for me, that get my attention, and that I will watch all the way through, are more like, the 10-15 minute, like what you do. And then with Pro, sometimes they're just a little too long for my taste, and I keep up with most of this stuff, so I don't have to have the whole history lesson beforehand, but that's just me. But when you're always getting new people in, like how all of you have, you kind of have to do that. It reminds me of It reminds me of how Rush Limbaugh used to do things, because back in the day, my grandfather listened to him and I listened to him. He would always have to do that because he said there's always someone new coming in. So just one of those things that would notice. And yeah, I'm not going to do that to myself. I've pulled most of my old stuff down because it's not very good. I wasn't a very good editor. Still not. So
speaking of improving, Pro, you've improved your show a lot. So I feel like you can have some very good constructive criticism for a humble YouTuber going from Miami to Asia. What do you think, Pro?
Oh, sorry. I think I missed that. Were you talking to Anime or to me on that one?
No, I'm talking to you on that. No. I mean, because Brandon was referencing your show and the style that you have, because we've all kind of modified our formats, right? You play around, you figure what works, and you figure what your audience wants, what they ask for, right? You work with good people that you trust, people that have good opinions. You look at what works for other people. Vices, I'm sure that when we were coming in, we were talking about what other people do, what works for them for trial streams, what doesn't work. You've done some amazing improvements there on your side. But Pro, like from your style of video, you do a lot of the pre-recorded videos. So I feel like you would have some good remarks for this humble beginning of pre-recorded videos.
Oh, yes. Well, I would say that it was better than the average person. You did better than the broomstick Star Wars boy who got down there and just went at it with the Jedi sword swinging. And from the early days of YouTube, where the samurai sword guy on, what was it, QVC, where he slashed himself, you were better than that. You beat out the grape lady, the one who was stomping the grapes in front of, I believe it was the Biltmore, and managed to slam and break her sternum. So all of those you surpassed in terms of your professionalism. Your hand motions, your hands, it's as if each one was connected directly to a single hemisphere of your brain working in tandem with your very thoughts. It was impressive.
David Copperfield.
That's right.
David Copperfield. I like that. that.
The thing about that is that, communicators always translate initially to YouTube very well. The problem communicators generally have is they don't get the ecosystem. They get the visual piece. They get the communication directly piece. And usually they'll be generally successful because of that. But they don't get the ecosystem. They don't get the algorithm. They don't get the topics, the format type things. These are the things where I think communicators, after they get their initial kind of bump, they need that help, right? And so it's a different medium, and you have to learn the medium.
Yeah. Well, as a former Mormon missionary, you in a previous life, you had a very good. I can talk to people. We can get you on the pamphlet covers.
Can you? Exactly. Wait, even with the tie, would they kick me out of the church for the tie, Jeff?
Well, no, it should be a dark power tie. That was a good. Just close the gap, man. Mind the gap.
And that's why I don't wear ties.
Gap between the collar and the top of the tie.
Jeff, can you tell there were no other lawyers in the room and nobody else who really knew anything about tying ties other than me and did not see that clearly? Because anybody that was my problem with that videographer. He was used to filming reggaeton videos and red pillars. So he didn't deal with people wearing ties. So he never knew. I took a bunch of photos too that day. They all had the fucking gap in it. And I won't use them for thumbnails because the fucking gap is like a goddamn semi-truck. It's
you said, how does the Windsor look? And he thought you meant the haircut. He had no idea.
I totally get that type of shirt is a style, but the whole collar looks plastic thing to me always just it's like a too kind of fake veneer type thing that it just.
Well, I did tell him. Hold on, though. I did say pretty much, here's the channel I want to copy, but be more based, and it was legal. So I was like, all right, we're gonna do legal, but we're gonna be more based. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. So if you're talking about,
I'm glad you changed.
Plastic motherfuckers, that is #1 on the list.
Yeah, if I had to add
the grin, the upward angle of the camera to make him look like he's not 3 feet tall.
The stiff nature of your posturing and how you were moving, you could definitely tell it was it almost looked like you were uncomfortable. But then again, being on camera is uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable holding back because like Bronca said, and it's very much true, people love all of you guys. They love your channels because you're all authentic. You're speaking your mind. Doesn't mean you have to curse all the time. Doesn't mean you have to do it, whatever, but you're all speaking your mind, whether it's Scott on geopolitics, Pro on Disney, and Brandon on anime, or Jeff on any trial that's going on, or anything that's in the water, because you are the
anything in the water, my friend. The maritime.
Yes, anything in the water is Jeff's specialty. So, the second there is a maritime trial, Jeff is going to blow up to 1 million subs. It's just going to
all about the water sport. Wait, never mind.
All about getting it wet, right, Jeff?
Hey Jeff, you know, I was thinking there's a great crossover potential with the Houthi rebels ganking that carrier from the Red Sea. We should do
a collab
on that.
Okay,
I saw that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, arrange your collabs elsewhere. I'm joking. That'd be great. I honestly, I want all of you guys to meet. I want all you guys to collaborate. If you guys haven't added each other on Twitter or wherever else you guys want to communicate, do that, because I think the collaborations are what's made my channel great. I mean, working with you, Scott, really blew up with Ukraine coverage. Disney was what got me over 100K subs. So
it was fun. Yeah. And, you know, Andrew, I was actually thinking critically for once and seriously, which is odd for this hour, but I think I do know what you have improved on so greatly, and that is that watching your first video, you were not having fun. And you are having so much fun now.
Yeah.
And that is what the audience, I think, connects with. They want to know that you are highly competent, that you're an expert in your area, but you need to have a ton of fun every time you go out there and do it. You're on stage, and it seems like now you're comfortable, you're in your zone, and you're having a great time doing it. And that
100%.
is worth watching.
And that's when I like to see people's transformation, because I think almost everybody starts stiff as a board. And they start really, especially lawyers, we're cautious, we're risk adverse. So we come in, we tiptoe, we're like, all right, where the fuck are we at? Then you figure out where you want to go, you figure out what you want to do, and you do it authentically. I see, for example, MG Law. I'm going to call out, I'm going to start drama here. MG Law, when I first saw MG Law, I saw you on, I think, Nick's channel, and I said, oh, he's a little bit stiff. But then I saw you on, I think, Josh's channel or somebody else, my good friend Meme Copium. And I was like, dude, he's really relaxing and like becoming his own personality that I can connect with a lot more. So I see young people coming into people coming into YouTube. They start this way and they find their voice, and it's really awesome. It's really freaking awesome. So I really support that, and everybody who's gone that way. Speaking of support, though, I got to get these super chats. Leprechaun Gold.
Well, before you do that, I got to do something good for my career and bounce for a few minutes.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much. I will see you next weekend. You're going to hear from me. We will be creating some internet drama and then meeting up in person. It's going to be great.
Cool. All right, and then if I can, I'll bounce back in a little bit. We'll see how long this takes me to wrap up.
See you, Jeff-san.
It was good to see you again.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
All right, so we got Leprechaun Gold $50 super sticker. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Then we got Medbot for $20 saying just stopped in to say hello and happy Thanksgiving and congrats on 3 years. I fall into an episode of Better Call Andrew. I don't know. I mean, Better Call Pro. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Better Call Saul did all right? I mean, it got pretty decent numbers, right?
I think so. Yes, absolutely.
I think I see. I'm not big into either of those two shows, but I do know that people that were into whatever the first one was
Breaking
called,
Bad,
Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul is technically a better show, and I think it did hold on a little better than what Breaking Bad did.
I will say I watched a couple episodes of it. I thought it was okay, but I had a lot of things that demand my attention.
Yeah,
so
it's not for me.
It didn't reach that. It's got me the whole season. But some people try to convince me otherwise. We'll see. Dayhawk Code says, happy anniversary. And here's to many more from this Kyopo bro. Shout out to my Kyopo brother over there in America. Dayhawk, I really hope you can make it to, if we do something in Korea, Scott, Jeff, and we do a big blowout in Korea. I hope you can make it over because we will have an absolute blast. And I will be really great to see. I hope your Korean is brushed up because they'll be just coming on full on Korean with you because you're Kyopo. So should be great. Rosalind Duke says, happy birthday for 1999 for time traveling grandpa. Well, is that because I'm a boomer? Because I'm boomering it? Because that's typically what's happening. But thank you so much, Rosalind. Appreciate that. Squid says, your first video was like watching a discount, unscripted, but more knowledgeable version of Legal Beagle. That's kind of what it was, except for the fact that, like, it definitely, I'm going to tell you what, at that point, and actually, I'm going to dox myself on this a little bit. I paid like $300, might have been even $400, to have that episode produced, have that single video cranked out. Like that was an way overproduced video, which I had no idea. I was new to YouTube. So I'm like, oh, it's just what it costs, right? Which when I had my legal career and I was still a lawyer at a firm at that point, or rather as in-house, it was fine. I could put out a video like that and I'd not think about the plus and minus. But the second I became, monetized, I'm like, wait a second, this is not paying for itself. So those expensive videos went by the wayside, but I went through an entire year almost of very highly produced videos that cost me a lot, but that's because I really wanted to do this and I really wanted to get into this. So I was kind of forcing that.
Andrew, what was your rise like? How quickly did you take off? When did you really feel like you were gaining traction?
Well, it is exactly right here. And I will show you the moment because it is 2 years in. So I went an entire year until this happened.
So, Mr. Groskritz, I'm going to...
I remember that.
Exhibit 67. That's a photo of you, yes?
Yes.
Okay. That's Mr. Whitmer.
I love that he did this before he answered.
It's pointed at Mr. Whitmer, correct?
Yes.
Oh, shit. No, it's pointed off to the side. I was dropping it down.
That's when he fires. Yes?
No.
Sir, look, I don't want to. Does this look like right now your arm is being shot?
That looks like my bicep being vaporized, yes.
Okay. You're pointing your gun directly at him. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so
Wow.
when you
TKO. Victory.
With your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Directed
Good memories right here. I remember
verdict on all
watching
the murder
this
charges.
live.
Kyle knows.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Directed verdict on the murder
Wait for it.
charges.
He just exhaled. Kyle he looks like he's gonna cry.
How do you not acquit after that?
Look at Bigger.
I'm glad they did.
Look at Big
Oh,
And then I got in a world of hate for calling Kraus big boy. You're shaming, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be fat shaming. That was the moment my channel went from, I think, something under 10,000 to like over 20,000 subs. So that
bicep and a narrative
huge.
vaporized and legal mindset used it to propel into the skies. Beautiful.
Yes. So it was Rittenhouse at 20, right? Amber Heard pushed me into the high, I think 60s ish. And then Disney got me over 100. So it's just, once again, on YouTube, it's just a matter of time, right? And if you follow a lot of these channels, there'll be something big that pushes them. Ukraine was for you, Scott. There'll be another future conflict. So it's just a matter of time, right? Obviously, Disney is just messing up left and right currently.
I clearly chose the wrong time to cover Disney. It's the worst possible time to come into YouTube with this expertise.
I mean, you know, there may be a point in the future. I mean, hopefully not, because I think they're doing fantastic. But I mean, you know, if it was Universal doing the same thing, you might be Universal Pro instead.
For now,
right?
I just leave messages on Bob Iger's voicemail saying, keep it up. Perfect. Hey, by the way, Andrew, did you know that our mutual friend Jonas J. Campbell, he actually was able to screenshot a mistake made by the new Disney CFO, Hugh Johnston, who on his main account followed Jonas on Twitter. We got the screenshot, and then a few minutes later, he unfollowed him. Clearly, he thought he was on his burner account. So I think the Disney folks are paying a little bit more attention nowadays.
Yeah. Speaking of paying attention, we got Floral back in the house. Welcome back, Floral.
I'm actually Wilton, and
Wilton. I'm sorry.
However, you can see in the chats that Floral has actually sent over about 30 different viewers, so that was really nice of him because he was running his show at 9 p.m. Yeah, so
what an awesome puppet, and it's and even more awesome, guys, is if you go over here and you send some love to the based puppets of Floral from Floral Under a Rock. channel over here, Floral Under a Rock. They've got 1.6K subs, which is awesome. Yeah. So you guys check that out. I've done some music videos with them. Other people have come on with them. It's been really great. These guys are out here creating fun-based content, non-woke. It's great, fantastic stuff. And it's funny, and it's just good content. So
and what other puppet show has chest hair on their puppets? I mean, look at Wilton. Look at that. Look at that tuft of glorious floral fuzz.
Andrew can't even pull this off because he's like a prepubescent child.
No, I shave. I keep it smooth.
Yeah, right.
Keep it smooth.
You probably
that's for locals. That's for locals and OnlyFans. Marsupial Gamer, $20 says, the one thing I've learned from Legal Mindset is there's no shame in live streaming from a toilet in a Korean bathroom. Great job, Andrew. Congrats on 3 years. You're an exceptional attorney and a talented streamer. Well, that's exactly when people recognized I was in Korea. I think, Scott, when you saw that, you can imagine the type of room I was in Korea.
Exactly.
Streaming from the bathroom.
Just don't drop the phone.
Yeah.
Or the soap.
It's like I strategically mute, I do some strategic muting. But yeah, it was awesome. And I've come a lot of way, and I've met a lot of cool people. Marsupial Gamer, it was awesome to meet you at Anime Surrey 2 years ago. I hope to hang out with you again in the future. You're a really cool dude. And I know you share with me some success in your life. And I'm glad that people that I speak to seem to be improving themselves, getting better, and pushing forward. So really, cheers to you, brother.
For the record, Andrew, when you mute strategically and tilt at the same time, no one is fooled.
Exactly. There we go. Okay. That's Steven JFG says, Scott, blink 3 times if you're forced to say this, Scott.
That was 4 times. Wait a minute.
I'm confused.
What's that called?
Nobody said I could count. Come on now. I have a degree in art.
That makes sense.
There are 4 blinks.
Lord of the Ree says, happy anniversary to one of my favorite Lawtisms. Thanks for keeping us entertained with your Disney coverage and base Chad antics. Cheers. Hey, cheers to you, Lord of the Ree. I can't even do it right now.
No, try it again. Do it again.
Ree. No, okay.
Coward.
I can't.
There you go.
I did more from you.
I don't have it in me. I don't have me in me, Wilton. I don't have it in me. So thank you so much for that. Brandon, the anime guy, who's on the stream right now. What are you doing? No,
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Spider-Man. Gotta love legal peeps, pop culture peeps, military peeps, puppet peeps, and anime peeps. Wide swath of awesomeness. Cheers. Cheers, and cheers to keeping it, guys. This channel, I don't give a fuck what they say in the comments. I don't care who says what. You should stick to legal education. Suck my balls, right? I am in my best Cartman voice.
Subscribe,
right?
Subscribe.
Cow, suck my balls, right? It is not going to happen. It's not going to happen because
I guess we're trying to figure out though, Andrew. Did they even drop yet?
Well, it is high. It is a long distance. 2 meters is a long way to fall. So
yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Q
Revere says live. Yes, we are indeed doing a live pre-recorded episode. It's special technology here on the Legal Mindset where we can do pre-recorded premieres that are also live.
That's cool.
Gumcrawl Tharoka says BLM represent. Yes, the base legal mindset. We are absolutely stacked right now in the base legal mindset because right now today we already have 55 new members. Our record was I think 260. So it's not being our record, but it's a lot. So appreciate that there from the BLM folks.
Okay, so here's a question: if you get 100 new members today, will you do push-ups on camera?
No.
Coward.
Wilton's only challenging you because his biceps are very toned and looking chiseled today. Wilton, chiseled.
Yeah, thanks. I've been working out.
They're not blown up. Let me get a couple of these that are roasting me because I will get to all the super chats and rants. I'll try to get them in the relevant order here. But from the roast of my video, Squid says for 10, wow, you looked what happens when a 10-year-old dresses himself for church.
Clip on.
Oh, that's harsh.
That is
not too far off, but still harsh.
Here's an even worse one that I think Pro will appreciate. Fat Steven JFG says that was light year quality good.
Ooh. To infinity.
I don't think that was the reference.
And a blonde.
I'm guessing it was The two girls reference. Anyway.
Torgo says, Bronco's right. Turkey's overrated. Happy 3rd. Thank you so much. Eclipse Warlord said, your first video is why you live abroad.
It was so bad you had to leave the country.
That's the quote of the night. That's perfect.
That one's good. That one's
valid.
Clip this. Guys, clip this. Industrial Bear says it was almost as good as that butt drugs commercial. Oh, God. Jonas J. Campbell said, happy Thanksgiving, Andrew, and congrats on everything you accomplished in the last 3 years. I hope one day you'll find an Asian country that won't deport you so quick.
No.
I love that there's Andrew was deported from Korea. Yes.
Where is Jonas tonight, huh?
He's holding stuffing, and that is not meant in any way, but in a very literal way.
Lots and lots of stuffing, though.
Lots of stuffing. Fast Steven says, it needs more cowbell.
Can always use more cowbell.
I gotta be honest.
I gotta be honest. Jones J. Campbell for 2 says permission to rename TPP EIB. Wait, what's
only if I get a golden microphone?
Oh. TPP, that part plays to EIB. Wait, what's EIB? What did I
EIB, of course, the radio station of Rush Limbaugh.
Oh,
excellence in broadcasting.
Yes.
With talents on loan from God.
My traumatized past always sees expert infantry badge when I see EIB.
Medmup for 10 says, in order to be like Legal, you need to review courtroom movies and be sponsored by a knockoff Armani suit maker. Actually, did you miss my Legally Blonde review? Because I also did one. That's back in the archives. You guys can look that one up because I know that none of y'all watched it because it's like fucking 300 views on that bad boy.
And it only cost $500 to make.
Yes, for 300 views. Great math there. See, this is why I'm not a finance channel.
It's like how much Hillary pays for votes. Perfect.
Oh, bro. You couldn't be demonetized. Thank you for the super sticker, Leprechaun Gold. Appreciate you. And Matt Self says, and by the way, Matt, thanks for retweeting out the comic, Adjudicators Academy. Thank you for that. Matt Self says, the real giveaway is he always seems to smell his fingers after the mutant tilt shenanigans. Congrats on
it's the slow smile like out of the Grinch holiday special that makes us all a little bit queasy.
Wow.
Right.
Jealous.
Contrarian says for 5, your staunch public and early support for personal liberty regarding pharmaceutical products won my respect from the start. Thanks, brother. And appreciate all those guys out there like Contrarian that have been with my channel since I had 30 people watching. We've all been there. I know, Scott, you've been there, Floral, Brandon, Pro. We're all at different places with our channels. Whether you've got 30 people, 300, or 3,000, right? You're there, and you got to remember the ones that have been riding with you, and you guys are seen, you guys are noted, you guys are heard and Contrarian. Appreciate you hanging out since those days of coming out against the Rona and just saying no, saying F you. We're not doing it. Like common sense needs to prevail here. And I knew that, and we were going to live in a world, right? 2 years later, 3 years later, where it's clear that this was crazy town, right? Mm-hmm. So like that was clearly crazy town. So we've been vindicated in the end.
Does anyone else dream of being on a show with Neil deGrasse Tyson and just how badly it would go for him to talk about that topic? Does anybody else just wish, please,
bro? I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson is like he's like an individual Disney. He had a fantastic career. I love Star Talk. It was a great show.
Yeah, agreed.
He tanked it. It was great. I listen to that all the time.
Do you know why though? He and Bill Nye were both making a fortune off of going and speaking at colleges, making $20,000 to $100,000 a visit. Well, what are they going to do that would disrupt that kind of cash flow? AKA nothing. So that's what happened there. They had to go woke to keep the college tour going.
The message. Yep.
Yeah,
they didn't have to, but then they did.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a separate form of pixie dusting, except it's the virtue signaling one specific type of pixie dusting. So
it's all fairies. It's all fairies.
Exactly.
All fairies.
All fairies all day.
Let's get one more here, and then I know we've got somebody's Gotta go. Leela says, happy 3-year anniversary. Thank you for keeping us informed on America and worldly news in Aaron and Andrew's unique, authentic, and entertaining ways. Be bold, real, passionate always. We love you. I love you too. And I love everybody out there. And even if we differ, right, there's people that have different backgrounds. Leela is a good friend of mine. She's Chinese in background, right, but now lives over there in Europe as a very devout Christian. We talk about Christianity. I've talked about Christianity on my channel. And despite the fact that, look, we may have different views, we may have different backgrounds, but we can agree on a lot of core principles, and principally about our constitutional principles that are being trampled upon all over the world, because these are things that don't just apply in America, right? Freedom of speech, due process. These aren't things that just apply in America. These apply all around the world. So absolutely stand for those principles wherever they are, and whether they're being trampled on in the courtroom or in the boardroom. I'm going to cover those issues. Speaking of the boardroom, though,
Exactly.
Pro, I know you've got to go, so I want to give you a chance to give some kind of final thoughts here before you jump off. And as always, you are a great person to work with, and I absolutely know I'll probably be in a video with you next week at this point.
Well, you know, what I would wrap up by saying is, Anime Guy had brought up, how he has followed all of this Disney stuff and is well versed in it. And as I go back and remember the path that you and I, Andrew, have gone through, going, through all of this information to the folks out there, we start videos today, and they are so complicated at this point. You start off, and you start to try to describe to people, all right, what this news article is saying about Disney. Here's what you need to understand. Right. One, we're talking about pseudo cities controlled by a private organization for decades. Two, a state that looked the other way. Three, a special district that had powers to create a nuclear power plant and an airport.
Right.
Four, we're talking about corporate capture. Five, we're talking about an attempt to change the laws governing real estate for the entire country if it's allowed to go through. All right, now let's tell you what Bob Iger said today.
Exactly.
It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride.
Monumental.
But I am surely appreciative that you stopped by and explained it for the folks out there. You and I have actually done non-Disney content before. The first time you came on my channel, we talked about one Alec Baldwin and whether or not he would ever face justice. And we continue to see, I think, what is the word they call folks who have privilege? Privilege.
Well,
what
that
real privilege looks like.
Hasn't that investigation been reopened?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Because of that, because they were called out.
Say that again. Say that. Yes, you have again.
But Wilton,
yeah, they got
still
called out
going to go
it.
through.
Yes,
yeah, privilege. All right, it's been a privilege. Andrew, take care and happy 3 years.
Thank you
Wilton,
so much, Pro.
Wilton,
I say I'm good at outros, but that is a great outro, Pro. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother, and I will catch you on the next one.
Have a wonderful night.
And we're back to a square. Now we are finally not violating my panel rule. We're finally not violating my panel rule.
And I was so jealous of Pro's voice for radio, man. I mean, he's got a deep voice.
Well, some folks have really good voices. They're not weird, they're not weird guys over there in Korea doing weird things.
That's right.
Like you and Jeff. They've got actual good voices.
That's why I don't go on camera. I've got the voice for radio, but the face for not being seen.
but
the face for an anime convention.
The face for a watch list.
Where do I fit in that?
Yeah. Well, we
I don't know. You're a troll, so who knows?
You're an actual troll.
Yes.
Actual troll.
Right.
The literal troll.
Sounds good.
Let's see what we got here. G says Florida State Senator Linda Stewart is reportedly filing a bill that would repeal the CFTOD. It doesn't matter if they file it, it's not going to pass. They don't have, they can file it and wipe their ass with it. People file bills all the time that won't pass. Somebody, by the way, there was a false report the other day of a Tennessee bill that's going to require every birth to have a paternity test. That's number one, a lie. That would never pass any house of anything in the world ever when 51% of the voters don't have an incentive for that. But that being said, that's totally manufactured. What it is was there's certain circumstances in a child custody case where they can require it if they're going to mandate payments, right? But once again, it's very difficult. There's ways to opt out of it, and there's ways to there's loopholes, right? So it's not fully bulletproof. But even then, that's only in Tennessee. So there's a lot of times where people will report things like, oh, these bills are one way or another. That's not the way they are. So Pappy, I'll stay on it though. And honestly, you know that I will cover it. And if she files the bill, I will read it, right? Because it's clearly going to have some good stuff. So I will definitely cover that. And thank you for bringing that to my attention, Pappy.
Okay, now here's a question regarding that.
Yeah, sure.
What is the political affiliation of that woman? Because that will tell us everything we need to know.
You know exactly what it is. Come
okay,
on.
so
let's look up Linda Stewart real quick. You even know what she looks like. You don't need me to tell you. This woman looks like Wilton. You are a troll.
Yeah.
But let me tell you right now.
Yes.
This woman might be your cousin, right? I'm just saying.
Jeez,
holy crap!
Saying, I know, right?
Good
You'd hit that, right? I mean, I know.
Well, yeah, with a brick. But
yikes. Okay, that does explain everything. So
speaking of hitting that, to the sexiest blonde out there in podcasting, my good friend Alana over there at Legally Dirty Blonde Podcast, who's popping my super chat cherry for this occasion. Happy 3rd channelversary, Andrew. Cheers to many more. Absolutely. And best wishes to you in everything you do. You are going to be successful. You are super smart, super talented, super skilled, have confidence in yourself, and you're going to do fantastic. So I look forward to everything you do with LDB Podcasts and all the other ventures you've got going on. Speaking of going on, $2 from Industrious Bear says Stacy's mom has got it going on. Indeed.
You got to be careful with those women that got it going on like that. You got to be careful.
Indeed.
Will Call Magic says happy 3-year anniversary at the Legal Mindset. Thank you so much, Will Call Magic. Appreciate you. Fat Steven GFG for another 2 says, want to buy a laptop with free baking soda.
I do.
Slow Mo Savage says, ask Legal Vices about Obama's chef. Too soon? Wait, am I not getting this joke?
All I know about that whole thing is it's a
this
gigantic shit show. Yeah.
I'll say this for Vices.
That's the windsurfer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, Andrew,
got it. Yes,
I have a question for you, okay? Because you're a man of travel and all that kind of stuff. So,
yes.
Now,
I haven't been under a rock, but I've been a lot of places.
Well, there you go. Now, here's the question. So, if you were to travel and you wanted free hugs, would you wear my T-shirt that says "I'm not a terrorist" and take the suitcase with you that says "This is not a bomb"?
Yeah, that's going to get you absolutely 100% going to lock up immediately. It's going to get you it's going to get you a free hug from the police as your face is on the floor.
Okay, so there you go, folks. With Andrew's advice, you can get free hugs if you wear a T-shirt that says "I'm not a terrorist" and wear a backpack that says "This is not a bomb." So there you go.
Very tight hugs.
So if you're feeling lonely this Thanksgiving, as was referenced earlier in the show, just wear those stuff and go to an airport or a train station or anything like that, or the Canadian border apparently. So
that is totally not legal advice. What is also not driving advice is this. I don't know if you guys have seen this video here, but this is the Canadian border. You're just mentioning.
Oh, yes.
Here's the video. Here's the security footage. Let's let this fly real quick. Watch it.
Yeah, that guy.
Ooh.
Them Duke boys, I'm sure in trouble now.
Duke boys are at it again.
That's just insane. Now think about the fact that there's other videos of other angles, and you see the explosion. So
So
Scott, Scott, I was going to toss to you on this. Is this domestic terrorism? What was it just an Asian driver? I mean, what's going on?
So I'm yes. So I'm stealing from my Twitter feed when I say this, that what started as a potential domestic terror attack ended up being a rich guy pissed off that he wasn't going to be able to see Kiss driving angry after he got the news. And so yes, it's a Bentley. This was a Bentley. This was not a we were thinking Black Hebrew Israelite because going for some sort of spectacular attack for the holidays or something like that. But Nope. This is just a rich dude driving. Now, on my channel, we have the 48-hour rule. Because there's always so many things. But in this case, the 45-minute rule seemed to apply, and the truth is coming out.
When you say 48-hour rule, you still cover it, but like you'll say, you don't want to
acknowledge it, but you don't
withholding judgment.
Yeah,
right.
Because we deal with a lot of these domestic violent extremist events, extremists.
Hold on, Scott. You don't wildly speculate on stuff the second it happens.
That's the most convenient time to speculate.
I do, but that doesn't mean I YouTube it. I'm not stupid.
Chicken.
I know. It's what it is. What it is.
You talk about future conflict.
Listen, we all can't be. We all can't be prime trolls. And speaking of trolls, Wilton, I know that you've got somebody to go and troll right now. But I just want to give you a chance to give some of your final thoughts and give some maybe success tips from a troll to maybe another troll. I've often been called a troll. So maybe advice from one troll to another troll on how to be successful on YouTube in the long term.
How to be successful on YouTube on a long term. Okay, so first off, you got to pay attention to who your audience is, right? And then make sure to say things that are going to just push the envelope, allow their own brain to do a lot of the stirring of the pot on its own, right? So here, what we got to do is consider this is Andrew's show, right? Now, on Andrew's show, he likes to talk about things like election fraud, right? So 2020 was not a legitimate election, right? So and he condones that statement fully. We're far enough into the show that unfortunately YouTube probably won't recognize it. But Joe Biden's not legitimate.
Well, what were you saying, Wilton? What were you saying? I'm sorry, Wilton. We lost connection there for a second.
Yeah, that was convenient. I saw
really weird
come across my screen. Yeah,
it was really weird.
Talk about COVID and how that's all a conspiracy and Wuhan labs and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically what you got to do. So if you want to be successful, go on to other people's shows, bring them down, right? Like going to Legal Bites and talking about stuff.
No.
And then Farron or I don't know, Megan Fox or Nick you can do all these kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So you just gotta know your audience, and then when they start going crazy, you rise up like a man and you say, "I can do this all day." So there you go. That's my advice.
Great advice from a troll to another troll. Hey, Wilton and the Floral team, cheers, you guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you guys deserve much more subs. And guys, stay based out there and stay puppet pilled. So I will catch you.
Take care, Wilton.
Have a great day.
And I noticed all the puppets in the chat.
Don't join gangs.
Parrot Head, I see you over here in the chat. So I appreciate all the puppet stands over here in the chat.
We love you all.
Love you guys.
Have a great night.
All right.
Don't let anyone take you.
Take care, Wilton.
All right. Couple more here. We got got that one. Blue Fire said 3 years and 100K subs. Congrats, Single Mindset. Thank you so much, Blue Fire. Then we got one from Cocho Dragon, gives a thumbs up. Thank you. Linda Hunter, who says happy anniversary 07. Thank you. Vibe AI says, hells yeah, let's go. Member for 11 months, great supporter, Vibe AI, great channel for lo-fi beats over there on YouTube and Rumble. And then Not K says, I admit I was an idiot on the Jenna Ortega super chat last night. My bad. No problem. That's why we have people on the channel so we can verify. It's be your own judge, right? You send a super chat. You weren't wrong. You were just wrong. You weren't entirely wrong. You were just wrong about one of the details of that, right? So it happens. It happens. But that's why we get panels of experts, and that's why we bring them on.
If I'm seeing correctly, she's in Scream, and didn't she tell the director that they can stuff it up their ass if they fire the other person? She'd walk. Good for her. Regardless of whether who's right or wrong in that, if you're going to stand up for something, you might as well go all the way and go balls deep with it. So
exactly.
I'm glad she's doing it.
Speaking of balls deep is always my locals. That's our kind of motto, is balls deep on locals, which is always my unfiltered area, which is why I love it. I love dropping exclusive content there. I love dropping stuff that I don't drop anywhere else there. And I always will, and no matter how much they try to shame me. So thank you so much, Ben SC, for dropping a $10 tip. Happy anniversary. Regal Mindset, sir. Yes. Thank you very much, Ben SC. It is
The
great.
degenerates of the degenerates.
Yes, that is the bottom of the barrel. They are the absolute bottoms of the barrel. You might call them the Ricadas, if you will. Speaking of which, it is so far that I fell. So you guys saw 2 years ago, right? And that was Rittenhouse. So now let's go to 1 year ago. So, and speaking of which, Lawtist in Law says sublegal mindset. It's producer Tim from Drexel's show doing my own LawTube Grift as a law student. Awesome. Anyways, grats. I'm happy for your success. Tim, send me a DM on Twitter or maybe on Discord somewhere, and I will have you on sometime because you're freaking awesome. And speaking of Drexel, that's literally what I was going to pull up next. Now, we can't be here, but it's really crazy how 1 year later, I went
Was this when you
hold
tried
on,
the
this is just a little
Baldo?
tip. It's just the tip. I just went from, being so proper to this. This is what I'm streaming about last year. Mia Khalifa destroyed by the BBC.
She's one who took, and same with Emily, right? This is the definition of the wall.
Emily who?
Emily Ratajkowski.
Oh yeah, I heard that name.
She was
Yeah,
on with-
Nick showed to me.
Yeah,
She's with on Blurred Lines
she's
video,
one hot,
right?
and guess what? People will say Mia and Emily, they're both still hot. I agree. They're both attractive women still. Anybody who says they would not smash is like lying. I mean, you could do it with a condom on because you know they're whores. But
so just like they said, I'm dropping hard bombs here. No less than a year later. I'm just saying it. I'm saying what nobody else wants to say on the internet, frankly. And everyone's too scared to say because we're all, we be nice, we fit people's feelings, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry. It's just going out there. I'm just saying it how I see it. And you can say I'm wrong. People can disagree with me, drop comments, call me whatever you want to call me. It's fine. I'm not going to stop saying it like it is. By the way, guys, yes, Drex will be back next week. He has really tough schedule, right? But Drex is always welcome on my channel, and always have him back for Pimcast. We always have a good time there. We just have fun. We're just like Scott and I hanging out. It's like the same thing. It's like dudes hanging out and having fun. That's literally what we're doing. Hashtag no homo. But yeah, it's a big change, right, Scott? I mean, can you see a little bit of the change?
No, I mean, I think this goes back to understanding your medium, right? I mean, you know, on that first video, you could clearly communicate, but you were used to communicating in the legal sense, right? And like, as a lawyer,
professional setting.
Exactly right. Now you have adapted, right? And I think that's the thing that takes, I think the advantage that I have, maybe it's a disadvantage in some ways because I kind of already made my mind up when I started my channel, was that I kind of learned my trade from the whole Comicsgate kind of live stream panel show. And that's exactly what I made from the very beginning.
Yes.
And so, and I'm very content with that. So, I don't make like 15-minute, standalone videos. So you're killing it, man. And your content is enjoyable, and the audience is rewarding you properly.
And I try to be, and honestly, guys, I know a lot of people, they told me, hey, Andrew, you could go for 4 hours. You could go for 8 hours. I don't want to. I go every show. You guys know this. It goes as long as I want it to go. It goes as long as feels natural, feels real. I'm not trying to be anybody but me. I'm trying to do my show, and I'm trying to be happy while I'm doing it, enjoy it, and have fun with you guys. If I wasn't having fun, it's not my show. It's somebody else's show because I'm forced to do a thing. That's that hostage video that I did in the beginning. That's a hostage video. That's legitimate, a hostage video of my personality, right? And that shit's not happening.
By the way, 2 of the great panel shows on YouTube is being dropped in the chat: Ballers and the Jack Show. Jack Show is classic YouTube comedy. Check it out if you haven't done that.
Yeah, I met with Cecil. Cecil's a really good guy, and always have fun hanging out with him. But I want to bring here Lila, who just dropped 50 Legal Mindset memberships. So that brings us to 103. We're like halfway towards a record almost. So thank you so much, Lily. Appreciate that so much. Appreciate your support of this channel and your great support of me on all the platforms, Rumble, Locals, everywhere else. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for helping me hit my goals and hit my, hit everything that we're going over. I don't know why does my Rumble say that the stream is over? It's really weird.
Rumble's
I
been
like that.
problematic.
Rumble's really fucking weird because literally the Rumble Rants app, I'm like looking over here to make sure it's all right and everything's okay and I'm not missing anything. And all I see the chat, but the applet is just weird. Eric though says, I like Andrew respects our time, doesn't stretch stuff out for 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna milk it, right? I'm giving you what it is, and if I'm just like sitting here blabbing or whatever, that's not me. I don't like that. Some people, oh, you could draw it out. No, I don't like to. And you guys see me on these trial streams that are boring. In fact, I found the niche I like for trial streams, which is stream sniping. So that is going to be my stream style. I am never streaming a trial again, sitting here in a box by myself. I'm going to be going around LawTube sniping everybody. That's what I'm going to do.
Or jumping in their streams because
until somebody tries to copyright claim me, and then we're starting some drama, and it's going to be great. Then I'm going to start some drama, right? Because that's going to be profitable drama, and it's in support of free speech and freedom of information. Because whoever does that's going to be a huge copyright cut, and they'll lose a fair use analysis, right? Because I'm providing clear commentary on something that I'm an expert in. So they're going to fucking lose. So, but I know somebody's going to get butthurt about it eventually. It's only a matter of time, but we'll see.
No, we'll do it anyways. And I'm glad
we'll
you're going to
see who the copyright cuck is. We'll see who it is.
Yeah, we'll see. I must say this real quick if I can.
Sure.
What other lawyer out there is a weeb like me? No one except for you.
Speaking of which, look at where I was. You literally caught it right here. Look at where it was a year ago. So a year ago is when I finally came out of the weeb closet. And I did one of my first anime streams. This is Best Animes, Do You Agree? With Yellow Flash, Nina, the T-Man, and of course,
me.
Certain created the anime guy. Yes. Let me just play the first couple seconds of this. Look.
Animes right now that is absolutely getting pilloried. For being way too wholesome. I think you guys know which one it is. I talked about this.
And I still love that poster that you've got in the background.
I'm watching, I'm into the second season right now, but
so good.
Literally everybody fucking it's so good. And everybody hates it because it's a positive,
it's great.
Family, not technically nuclear because they're not related, right? It's wholesome and it involves a family with like a positive male role model who isn't a piece of shit. Like it's actually really good, but one of the reasons why I wanted to start.
Okay, so I'll just drop that out. But yeah, so that's where I went, right? I went out and did that because I was like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, are there that many people that are really into anime? Like, and are there that many people that watch my channel that are into anime? And like, are people gonna like this? Well, guess what? I know it's not everybody, but like whenever I do an anime stream, you guys are so engaged. You're so paying attention. You're like, guys are like really aware. You have great recommendations. So that's why I'm like, all right, you guys really like this. So we'll do it occasionally. I'll do it maybe once a month or once every other month if I'm really busy. But I mean, it's been a great stream. I've loved having you on for that, Brandon. And it's a part of my like personality. It's just like, oh yeah, for years I've opted out of Hollywood and I've watched anime because it's just better. The story
is so much better.
Objectively, it's not even a debate anymore. It's laughable. Like Wish, it's like you think Wish compares to like even a mediocre anime? No, even a mediocre anime is way better than Wish. And actually, Scott, I've been reading a lot. I haven't talked about this, but actually, a lot of the Korean mangas, those were actually surprisingly based. Like I've read a lot of them, and they're actually some of them are really good. The translations of them, I was like, holy shit, dude, it's actually pretty fucking good.
Which ones are you reading?
There's one, but there's a couple that I'm reading. One is this one about like a soldier who like he became like a dark sorcerer, which was like a bitch, like it's like the worst class, and he became like the slave. He got isekai, sent to a fantasy world, and this like this woman, this priestess, was like, "Oh yes, thank you for being my simp all this time. Now I'll send you back to your world." And finally, when he like is out of his contract and he's leaving, he's like, "All right, I can say it. Fuck you." And he literally like flicks off this chick, and it's like you're a bitch, and like beats us out. And like that's literally what he says. And I'm like, this would never happen in Western media. They would be like, she's a queen, respect her, and she's just the pettiest bitch ever. It turns out the whole problem. This is not a huge spoiler, but one of the pieces is the monsters. So he goes back to Korea, and the first thing he does in Korea is guess what, Scott? Eat Korean food, right?
Oh, of course.
So he goes to get kimchi jjigae and fried chicken and everything else in game. So he eats fried chicken in games. Yeah. So he just wants to chill. But this bitch is like so petty that she sends monsters back and he's got to like kill them, but he's already like OP. So it's kind of funny. And then all these girls simp for him, but he kind of ignores them. He's not interested in that. So it's really, really interesting. That's one of the ones. There's a bunch out there. There's another one about another apocalyptic world where like there's zombies and he doesn't simp and he like creates his own society, and it's really fantastic. But there's a lot. Once again, I don't know the names. I just know the storylines.
Just real quick to comment on your clip there. I just want to say, Spy Family. I'm watching that with my daughters, and they love it.
Yes,
very good, very
nice. Yes,
I mean,
such a good series.
We generally eat it while we're having dinner, and even my wife is watching it. And the sad thing is we generally wait for the dubs so that we can eat and listen and watch at the same time, because when it's kind of hard to eat and read subtitles at the same time. But it's been my daughters were like, "Oh, the dubs aren't out yet. Let's go ahead and watch it on with subs anyway." I was like, "All right." I guess the new season or whatever is in the process right now.
This new season so far has been really good. And when it goes to the current stuff, I know there's a lot of people that are extremely pissed with the dubbing, and I don't blame them because most of the dubs these days are trash. This is one where I will make the exception to the rule. I can listen to it in dub, and I think the dub actors do a good job with it. Well, better than most.
I think specifically Spy Family's dub is as good, in English as it is in Japanese.
And here, Scott, I'll say this too. I think something that helps with the dubbing, and this is my argument. I know people get really mad at dubs versus sub, which is great. But one of the things that I notice is when it's portraying Western characters, and this is supposed to be set in like a Western type scenario, like East versus West, Russia versus Western Europe, right? So it's set in a European like background. It's not necessarily Asian, so to say.
Right.
The dubbing tends to be better because they can just use people that would have a regular Western voice, and it makes sense, right?
Yeah, and the other thing too that I haven't really noticed, because one of the things that we'll do is we'll put the because we're a bilingual household, right? And so we'll put the English subtitles on when we watch something that's dubbed, especially like watching Korean.
Korea has dubbed the anime.
Yeah. Right. Well, and so when you see the subtitles are based on the actual language as a separate translation from the dubbing.
Most of the time,
So you see a different, like you're seeing different dialogue, and generally the subtitles are closer to the actual original language dialogue, and we're not noticing a big difference between the dubbing and the subs, which is, that's less the voice actor quality for me, but more the reason I don't like dubs is because they editorialize, they change context.
Yes. And in fact,
that's a huge problem.
I want to show this right now. Actually, I was going to pull this up before I intro somebody over here. We have this is from Otaku Gatekeeper, who posted this post from Viz Media. Translation for My Hero Academia switches prostitute to sex worker, right? And then they have a picture of Mirko. I don't know if she's supposed to be in the canon of prostitute. I don't know, whatever. I don't know why.
No, she's not. Mirko definitely is not.
No, yeah, exactly. I know she wasn't, but whatever. It's like, anyways. So yeah, they switched that term, and of course, because there's the leftists saying, "Oh, it's all sex work. It's sex work in order to make it seem less bad." It's like, oh, well, it is.
They're changing the connotation.
Right? There's a legal charge of prostitution. Would they be convicted of it? Right? If they would be convicted of a legal charge of prostitution, they are a prostitute. If there's something else, then you can call them something else. Right? If you want to call them a massage therapist, if you want to call them a sugar baby. And speaking of sugar babies, I got a super chat from Lost in Law, who said $5 Canadian saying, "Got you on Discord. I am Lost Bullets there, if you remember. Happy to come on and chat. Not as famous as Drex, but I'm slightly lighter than him." And of course, that's why I have producer Tim on. Tim, how's it going, brother?
What's up? Oh man, things are going great. Halfway through a lot of great.
Well, I have to have you on, Tim, because we had Bronca on, right? We had Bronca on.
Oh,
and then we don't have Drex. So I played some videos. We got to have some misogyny on here. If we don't have some uber MGTOW misogyny, it's not a legal mindset stream. It really isn't. I mean, it's not authentic to my stream.
Well, I can't hold a candle to Drex in that regard. I mean, I did crash your show where you guys are talking about anime. Yeah. Drex and I have talked about anime quite a bit on our show back in the day. Drex will maintain that Fist of the North Star, and Fist of the North Star is his go-to for strong male role models. Because you guys were talking about My Hero Academia. That's nothing but a tear fest.
Yeah.
Midoriya does like to cry a lot. That's true.
Main characters, right?
Here, My Hero Academia. Look, I know why people like it. It's essentially Marvel. It's better than Marvel, right? If you said you have to watch My Hero Academia or Marvel, I will watch My Hero Academia every day. You just gotta like fast forward. Like whenever I have caught up on some of it, just because I started it. So I fast forward through the whole episode. I'm like, oh, what happens? Oh, okay, this is what happens, right? So whenever I know when they're gonna go into their speech or they're crying or whatever else, I'm like, fast forward. Oh, this guy wins the fight. Oh, this guy wins over here. Oh, okay, got it. Right. Oh, they're breaking people out of the jail. That was totally going to happen because every time you show something, it's a Chekhov's gun. They're of course going to break these people out of jail. It's the Arkham Asylum, right? So yeah, it's not as good. I'll say that there. Let me get some of the super chats. Murray Trujillo says the hardest part of the Disney situation is convincing normies it's not a work of fiction. Life is truly stranger than any fiction. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Like if you would have told me 4 years ago, I would be a YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers who's talking to a dude in Korea, right? Who's talking to, and it's a coming up law student who's been on me with Drex talking about, everything from sex dolls to SMV, right? And Brandon talking on the wholesome side, right? Talking about anime, talking about what's good for families, talking about replacements for Disney for children, right? Like I can go from that topic to that topic pretty seamlessly. There's not many people that can do that, and not many lawyers that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to break my rule a little bit, and I'll show you.
Berserk.
Love that.
Fist of the Northern Star. Sorry, Fist of the Northern Star.
Yep. Yeah. Fist of the North Star Volume 1. They finally have the 10th volume out. They've tried doing this manga series twice before here in the States. Mm-hmm. Both times they didn't finish it. So far, the boys at Viz have got up to volume 10. They've got another 17 to go. They better do it. They better do it. I will say,
no, I was at the I was in Roppongi, and I went to a exhibit for Jack X, for Black Jack X, but I also right next to it was a Fist of the Northern Star exhibit, right? So that it was like and it was packed. It was sold out. There's a line, so it's still got popularity. Even
it's still massively popular. And when you look at it, the artist of this was Tetsuo Hara. He is the godfather of the modern male anime style. Everything since '84 springs from this base setup. Prior to that, everybody was a little more rounded in their faces and things of that nature. But he set the male prototype forward, and everybody was going. And speaking of a show or a book series that is excellent that would be good for kids. Although I would say watch it subtitled, because you don't get the F-bomb dropped until the 7th episode, whereas in the English dub, they screwed it up and did it in the 2nd episode. But I would say probably one of my favorites from last year. It's definitely underrated. I know there's a few people in the chat who are like, yeah, there's a lot of normie stuff, but this is a little more obscure. And it's Reincarnated as a Sword. It was my absolute favorite from last year as far as a new series. It's so good. This took forever for me to get. My local manga shop, when they opened up earlier in the year, they couldn't keep this in stock. So they just barely got it.
Well, what's going on with this? So somebody sent this one in Alfarius Omega and says, the Brandon King win the latest theater drama, Fainting Couch Controversy. K-pop star likes Made in Abyss. Why is that controversial?
My understanding with Made in Abyss is the main character in it, they're done chibi style. Made in Abyss is TVMA. It's a very difficult show.
Very graphic.
And there's some blood and gore and stuff that happens to the kids. Well, Made in Abyss is what, 5-6 years old now? And just because a K-pop star likes it, now all the I think it was The Guardian or one of the trash mags picked it up and said, "Oh, this is awful. Don't let your kids watch it. How dare they have violence against kids in a show? Oh my Lord."
So why? The question is why are British media going off about that stuff right now? And
because they're shitheads.
No, the answer is
there's quite literally a shitheads.
No. There is a topical reason why they're doing it. You know who is being hosted by King Charles right now? Only 2 state heads are hosted each year by the king, and one of them this year is Yoon from South Korea, who is in Buckingham Palace right now, like doing all the meet and greet and ceremonial stuff. And so you're getting a lot of heat on Korea. And so the fact that they're going after K-pop stars, I mean, I would wonder is this, I don't know this K-pop star off the top of my head because I don't really follow.
Neither do I.
You don't follow K-pop? You're going to be run out of Korea.
I leave that to my daughters. I mean, let's be honest. Without I know a lot more about K-pop than anybody who, except for the people who actually follow K-pop, because you get it through osmosis here. But it's just one of those kind of things where it's a strange kind of coincidence when these types of things happen. And not to toot my own horn, but this is the kind of threads that you have to be able to follow when you're looking at future conflicts and seeing how they develop and where they come from. And, there's just a lot of stuff that we like to say on our channel is over the next terrain feature. And that's the thing that we want to highlight, the things that may be out of your view right now. So.
Perfect. And let me get a couple of these here. So we had a new member, Byron Blevins, coming in over here. Thank you so much, Byron, for becoming a member of the Replay Gang. Florence Dono says, "Congrats, big dog. I'm glad you've been able to make it this far. Been a pleasure to watch your content and be a member." No, thank you, Florence. And appreciate all y'all coming out and following good people, whether you're following Scott for military comment, whether you're following Bryn for anime content, whether you were following Drex. And Tim, do you want to tell us about your new channel and what you're wanting to talk about on your new channel?
Yeah, so I started a channel called Lost in Law. Yeah.
And subscribe.
Appreciate it. I'm 180 people away from 500 subscribers.
Nice.
I talk about legal topics from the perspective of a Canadian law student. I cover quite a few constitutional questions here in Canada. I think when you're looking at constitutional questions, Canadian law, Canadian jurisprudence is about 4 years ahead of where America is going. So when
it's going.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes.
Let's cancel that.
I like the suit pick. That's actually really good. And you don't have the gap between the tie like I have, so in my first video. So
my question is this conservative guy going to pull out the W up in Canada? It's Holland just fell. I don't know if you guys are following.
Is he going to win?
All right, you want okay? So again, the other thing
here we go
on my channel, and Ed, you can pull it up. There will be one of my previous live streams. I covered a provincial election, so I work professionally as an election data analyst.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
And nice. I did this, so people might know me before I teamed up with Drexel. I appeared on Nick Rekieta's channel as an election analyst during the presidential election.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yes. That would be, it's still on YouTube. You can find Rekieta's election coverage, presidential election. I also, sorry, not 2016, 2020. What am I thinking?
It all just blurs together.
It does. It really does. I also did coverage for the midterm elections, although I think he took that down because there was, I think someone copyright cucked him or something.
Yeah, that would happen.
But yeah, so it's me and Ty Beard hanging out for like 8 hours, just nerding out about political stuff. So you're asking the right person if you're asking that is that French guy named Pierre Poilievre the conservative guy gonna win prime ministership? It looks like that's going to happen. There's a couple of factors going against him. going against Justin Trudeau. Number one, he's been in government now for 8 years, going on 9 years.
Forever.
We don't have term limits in Canada, but typically a government that stays in that long gets, they get thrown out no matter how popular they were at the start.
Right.
We also have some pretty good election laws here. You do need to show ID most times to vote. There are exceptions.
No.
There are exceptions.
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing in most countries that aren't America. Right?
Exactly.
Like the people that think that oh my God, it's racism. It's like, this thing that most countries in the world require because it's fucking common sense that you should have an ID to vote. Like that's the most lame.
I have to have one in my state.
Yeah.
Right. As you should.
And of course, there's always exceptions, right? You can do like the testament, vouching, affidavit, whatever.
Right.
Mail-in ballots are not permitted to be touched by anyone other than the voter. So ballot harvesting is not allowed in Canada.
Why?
So you can't
be allowed in America either. But
yes. And finally, we do not use electronic voting. We use at best tabulation, which still includes a paper backup.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it should be across the board. I'll never understand that. So
our elections, we actually have a big royal commission coming out on election interference. We're taking it quite seriously up here, especially from China. There was a huge controversy.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they're not making it about Russia, frankly, in Canada, right? Because they always try to. When it's on the right, it's Russia. When it's on the left, it's typically.
Give Trudeau a chance. He just might do that.
And it's the right actually bringing this issue up. And it's been alleged and proven a couple of times that Chinese agents are contacting anti-Chinese members of parliament and threatening them or campaigning against them.
Yeah,
you guys have got a real China problem in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got our own China
Scott. Don't be. You want to go look at
we've got our own China problem, but when you compare the two, I mean, you guys are gone. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, and it's our purchasing power that's the biggest problem. We're a country of 30 million people. Our dollar is like one fourth less than your dollar, right?
Normally it was on parity, right? That's the big thing.
Fairly close to
No. You got to go back to the 80s, 70s for this. That was Prime Minister Diefenbaker intentionally devalued our dollar against the American dollar because our economy can't keep up with the American economy. It was pushing a lot of us out of the market. So we did this intentional devaluation. We are a resource-based economy. We sell you raw materials. You guys take the raw materials and manufacture from it as much as there's manufacturing left.
That explains China.
Yes. So, we are a natural resource country. So we're like prime candidate for Belt and Road initiatives. But because we are like a Western nation, first world country, we do have enough money that we don't need the Chinese investment. However, that doesn't stop them from trying. And so they own like half of Vancouver right now. But that's Canada's third largest city. And, Vancouver's...
It's weird that the politics in that city are so left. It's just so odd that...
No, it's the left coast. Yeah. Vancouver's identical to San Francisco, Portland, Seattle.
Yes.
Isn't that the French-speaking section of Canada?
Nope. You're talking about Quebec. That's central.
Quebec is its own thing, its own separate.
Anyways, to go back to the original question about the conservative guy, he's Trudeau's slipping into polls. His incumbent government's been in way too long, so he's riding the wind of change. He stands a very good chance of winning next election. He may end up with a minority government. We have a multi-party parliamentary system here. Yeah, Americans may not know it, but Aussies, UK, you guys are familiar
with
the
rest of the world. Yeah.
And being abroad, where I'm familiar with that as well. Thailand has it. A lot of other places have it. So
Quebec is the Palestine of Canada.
Nice.
That's a great one.
Let me get some of these comments here. Eclipse Warlord said, speaking of anime, I finally picked up Trigun. Oh, yeah, Trigun's awesome. The original Trigun.
Trigun's fantastic.
Dig Hogco says the success of this channel is owed to the seamless transition between legal, anime, pop culture, world affairs, and diverse guest personalities. Exactly. And I want to make everybody feel welcome on this channel and feel like we can do a one-on-one. We can sit down and have a good conversation because, Tim, I'm talking to you right now. I want to talk to you about Canadian politics for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I want to just have a show with you on Canadian politics because any video I do on Canada, it blows up because Canadians are fed up. Anytime I do a Go East video where I'm like, Canadians, get out, that video goes crazy. People are abandoning Canada like it's a battleship in Pearl Harbor. You got to do, they're just doing whatever they can do to get out and, get to the shore because it is bad. It's under attack from all angles, including from its own people. Its own people are attacking Canada, which is a shame because, look, as much as I poke fun at it, I generally like most Canadians I meet in person, right? Face to face, one-on-one. People like you, Tim, other people are there. I've dated some Canadian girls that were actually all right. So
yeah, I'll tell you what.
I don't believe you. I don't.
No.
I can show you some photos, Scott, and I think I'll convert you.
A young Montreal woman is a dream to catch. Our women weigh about 40 pounds less on average in Canada.
The dream by hot and crazy scale,
Yes, of course. Maybe. What other fun do you get to have?
Yeah, you got to live life a little. You're in Korea. Talk about hot crazy scale. Korea, hot crazy scale. Come on.
Yeah, I married to the hot crazy scale. So,
by the way, the war, the culture war in Canada.
$10, by the way. Sorry, I just want to give a quick shout out. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, the culture war in Canada. So there's a province here called Saskatchewan. It's a pretty small prairie province. It's like the North Dakota of Canada, right? Yeah. Flyover country, literal flyover country. Anyways, they passed a law mandating that it was focused on the whole pronouns and transgender issue in schools. Schools have to notify parents if their kids wish to change their pronouns or whatever. That was ruled to be possibly unconstitutional. Our government invoked a section of our charter that says that we can just ignore you. And so that law stands as good law and cannot be challenged in the court. It's called the notwithstanding clause. And there's a part in our human right, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. There's a section that says you can pass a law that literally ignores all of this, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
There you go. There you go.
Gotta love it.
It's bad when you use it to attack a law, a right that we actually want. So, if America had something similar, it would just constantly be used to attack the Second Amendment and the First Amendment.
Right.
For that matter.
That's exactly what they would
I think you've answered this one, by the way. Alfargus for 2 said, Tim, info about the apple eating leftist crusher. That's Pierre Pollier, right? So
no, the left. Yeah. Apple eating
leftist crusher. He's crushing the leftists. Yeah.
I've never seen him with an apple before, but
you didn't see the video?
No. Oh, I must have missed that one.
See the video? Hold on. It's on my Twitter. I'll find it real quick. You did not see this Chad, this absolute Canada Chad. I honestly, I was.
This guy looks like a snake oil salesman. Let me tell you, Pierre Polyev. First of all, one of the Frenchest names you can think of in Canada.
Listen, I have no problem with that.
Slick hair, right? Comes in with his smooth glasses and whatever, smooth face.
He smoothly busted out some leftist pussy with this, though. It was absolutely great. Hold on.
Well, he's also disavowed MGTOW, which I'm not terribly fond of.
Yeah. Well, that's, once again, you can't have, I make this argument, you can't have perfect folks, right? And it's like you work.
You gotta admit, MGTOW's pretty cringe.
Yes, it is.
Well,
I'll be the first to admit that we reject labels because the people who wear those labels the proudest tend to be the worst representatives of it.
Absolutely, 100%.
And let's be honest. Almost every MGTOW guy I've ever encountered in person is MGTOW until they can find the chick that's right for them, and then it's like, well, happy.
Yeah, they're the ones subscribing to OnlyFans.
Your MGTOW, yes,
right
yes,
set
you're
of walls.
subscribing.
Yeah.
And we see that, by the way, we see this with like the general red pill movement, right? Because like most of the people that watch red pill channels, what's deemed red pill channels, even though that's always debatable, right? But let's say like whatever, right? The majority of people watching whatever are there to subscribe to the girls' OnlyFans, right? And that's clear because the numbers are like they go on the show, they show up, they get an army of Sims. It's just what happens every single time. But here's this Chad over here handling an apple. This is a while back, so we'll play it again. It's a short clip here.
On the journalist. In terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the
I remember this one
pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know.
He's doing it right.
That's the question. So you must be somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again. You want to be able to afford rent. Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power.
Okay, of the average Canadian. Right.
Does it sound like a more confident Ron DeSantis?
More confident Ron DeSantis.
That'd be
no,
very
but the key there, Tim, was the way he rebutted the guy was very good. And from
not accepting the stupid premises.
He's not buying narratives. I reject the premise of your question. I'd like to know what outlet that reporter was, if someone knows. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm sure someone can find that.
Our jurisprudence says that there's no minimum standard to call yourself a journalist. You simply put on a badge that says media and you walk up, you get access to politicians, right? If they call on you to ask a question, then you ask a question and you go. So
but you don't have to answer.
There's also no minimum
duty to answer, right?
No, of course. There's also no minimum education standard to be a journalist.
Well,
there's no standard to be a journalist.
But let's be honest. Should there be? Because
the
answer is no. There should be
because the universities aren't helping them. Certainly not the Canadian university system is not helping them. American university system is not helping them. They're just coming out as radical, activists. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Lunatics.
Go join Just Stop Oil or something.
Oh God, you should see the legal profession.
Yeah, I can
so
imagine. I can imagine. When I, Ian Runkle, he's a fellow Canadian lawyer. I'm like, dude, Runkle is, is like the base Chad for Canada because, and he's such a polite, nice guy. But in the Canadian scale, he's like so far on the right-hand side because it's just the Overton window is so much different in Canada.
And he considers himself a leftist.
Which is funny. Funny. Trina White says, what a fun party. Happy BLM anniversary. Look forward to many years ahead. Thank you for your 2 months on membership, Trina. And we're going to have just many more years ahead. Yeah, we're gonna have years. I look forward to a decade of the legal mindset because I love doing this, dude. I really just love this. It's what I love doing. I love showing up for this channel and doing it on Rumble, doing it on all sorts of platforms, even over here on Locals, where we have yet another come in, which is one from my good friend here, Simbi, who says for $20, big up on 3 years. Glad to have been around for 2 of them, all of the very content and unique perspectives. Thank you so much, Simbi. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support of the channel and really having a good time over at the Legal Mindset, whether it's on Locals, whether it's on Rumble, wherever else. We're just here to have a good time and hang out. So I'm going to call it here. We're at 2 hours. I got to eat. It's been a minute. But I will say thank you to my guests, Scott from Future Conflict, Brandon the anime guy, Lost in Law. Guys, join their channels. I will be on their channel, Scott. I really deeply apologize. I was super busy when you were there. Whether I was hungover or whatever else I was mutually engaged with. I me scusi, but I will be on your channel in the future. Brandon, obviously, we're gonna do some anime streams, and Tim, we'll talk law. And maybe let's talk a little MGTOW too. I don't know. Maybe we'll pop.
Andrew, before we leave, I think maybe the next opportunity for us all to get together again will be the charity stream. I think
charity stream. Yes, we are going to do another charity stream. So make sure you do that. Make sure you stick around for that. Also, I want to give another shout out because we got 400 people in the beginning. We didn't have it. I want to thank Patrick Kennedy again. So all of you guys that subscribe to Adjudicator's Academy, it's my comic. That comic is now out. It's now been published for all but the lowest tier. So everybody else, all the other backers should get it in a Google Drive link. So click on that link, download your perks.
It's a manga, right? It's a
manga. It's a manga style that's out. It's released. So the lowest tier, you're going to get it this afternoon at some point. I'll get it to you guys because you're the largest tier. So I had to really work for that one. But you guys will get that this afternoon. All the other tiers have gotten it so far. So thank you for supporting the comic project, guys. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting charities. And we will catch you all later. Peace.
Take care.